So feel free to bring the awareness inward, just inviting the attention inside. And you can either cast the eyes downward slightly or close the eyes, see what serves you best this morning. And as you journey inward, see if you might set an intention to practice for the benefit and good of your children, for the benefit and good of all beings everywhere. And also inviting with you a spirit of care and kindness as you look within. A compassionate gaze, softly shining inwardly on all that's there, all that's unfolding. And in mindfulness, we can take some time as we look inward just to notice different layers of our experience. So first, just noticing perception, just noticing, even with the eyes closed or softly down, we can perceive the environment around us, what we're hearing, the quality of the air temperature. Just noticing how inside we're experiencing the outside, how our insides are perceiving the outer world. And we can also just notice if it's pleasant or unpleasant or neutral experience that we're perceiving in the environment around us right now. And bringing our attention to our physical experience, the sensations, shifting more to interoception, feeling ourselves from the inside, perceiving the internal arena physically. Just allowing ourselves to notice any sensations, maybe some areas of openness or flow, maybe some areas of tightness or tension or stuckness. And just perhaps landing on one particular area and just naming that area as pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, without needing to change or fix or solve anything that you're finding there. Just practice being right there with it just as it is, gently brushing that area with awareness. It's okay if the mind wanders off. It's just an opportunity to strengthen the muscle of awareness as we gently guide the awareness back to that one area in the physical body. Just gently coming back to that one area with some curiosity and compassion for it. A non-abandoning presence. Even if our mind wanders a little bit, a commitment to come back to it and not abandon it completely, especially if it's hurting, especially if there's some discomfort there. And then bring our attention to the breath without changing the breath or shifting the breath, just beginning to notice the breath more fully. Especially as mothers, we know that as soon as we bear witness to something like our children, there's often a desire to change or fix what we're seeing there, to comment on it, to adjust it somehow. So as we begin to notice the breath, we can feel that impulse to change it and get involved with it. And we can practice simply listening to it. And immersing ourselves in the experience of it. That's where the deliciousness comes in. Really give ourselves an opportunity to simply experience this breath more fully. This breath that breathes us without us needing to do anything. Just allowing ourselves to relax into the field of sensations involved with the experience of breath. And then begin to shift the awareness to the mind, just allowing yourself to notice the thoughts. Not trying to stop them or change them or fix them or replace them with more positive thoughts. Just noticing the thoughts that are flowing by like leaves on a river. See if you can notice a thought that's moving through now. And just notice, is it pleasant or unpleasant or neutral in nature? Without judging it as good or bad, right or wrong, just non-judgmentally noting pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Just cultivating self-knowing. And see if you can notice a thought that's moving through the mind space now. See if you can acknowledge it as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And just see if there's any other thought that's floating by in this moment. Ah, that's what the mind was thinking. Gentle acknowledgement of the thought that's moving through. And see if you can just name it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Just bear witnessing. And begin to shift the awareness to the heart space. See if you can notice the overall emotional tone, emotional atmosphere that's there for you right now in this moment, which might be a little different than when we first began. And see if you can notice if this overall emotional experience right now is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral in nature, without judging it as good or bad, right or wrong. Just sensing the quality of it. And see if there are any other little individual rivers of emotion flowing through. Perhaps from undigested experiences from the day yesterday, or from the week or month or year. Just listening to the heart space. Witnessing with compassionate, caring eyes. And if you're aware of an emotion that's moving through, a particular one, from some undigested experiences still in the process of being processed, see if you can just acknowledge it as pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Practicing this non-abandoning presence, this non-judging presence. That we can bring to our heart space, to our emotional life. And just see if there's any emotion that's calling out for your attention. And just see if you can gently brush it with your caring awareness. And then beneath the waves of sensing and thinking and feeling, see if you might relax deeper down into the spaciousness of awareness itself. Just resting in that open, spacious awareness. And after a few moments of silence and spaciousness, it's likely that a wave of experience will arise. And you can just gently turn towards that wave of experience as if to bow to it. Maybe even naming it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And then relaxing back into the spaciousness of awareness again. See if there's a wave of experience arising. Gently naming it, acknowledging it, seeing it with greater clarity and care. And relaxing into the spaciousness within you again. Yes, and very gently beginning to shift the awareness to the breath. Beginning now to deepen the breath, shifting out of a pure mindfulness practice and beginning the yoga practice, weaving mindfulness throughout the yoga practice as well. So feel free to bring the right hand to belly, left hand to chest. And exhale, fully press the belly in, exiting the air out through the nostrils. Inhale, slowly expanding belly, rib cage, collarbones rise. And exhale, collarbones lower, chest lowers, belly deflates. And inhale, feel free to engage Mula Bandha, root lock, drawing the muscles of the perineum up and in, and a long, slow exhalation, releasing the muscles of the perineum and pelvic floor down 3 or 4 flights. And continue at your own pace, perhaps allowing the exhalation to be twice as long as the in-breath. Maybe just noticing pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. It's okay if judgments arise. It's human for them to come in. We can just notice judging, and most likely unpleasant. And then just come back to the bare witnessing again. Even adding in some compassionate care. Good. After the next long, slow exhalation, you can return the breath back to normal. And you can either unite the palms together in front of the heart or place both hands on the heart and humbly bow the head down. And just take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light that rests deep, deep within you. That open, spacious ocean of compassionate awareness. And take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light and awareness consciousness within your children. See that ocean of awareness within them and bow to it. And take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate that divine spark of life and light within all beings everywhere without exception, no matter how clouded in darkness or ignorance or despair, knowing that that light is still there, deep within. You can swim the arms out to the sides as if moving through thick mud or heavy, dense water. And interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, rock the hips forward, lift the head, neck, and chest. Just take a few deep breaths here. Just practice listening. Listening inwardly. How this feels for your body, this position. And attuning, maybe it feels better for your shoulders to rotate externally, which means releasing the grip and rotating the palms out, thumbs up and back. See what feels better. Or maybe it feels better to have a deeper back bend with the fingers interlaced. There's more leverage. So just listening and attuning. Take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Invite the arms forward, diving the arms forward, interlock the thumbs so we can fan the elbows out to the sides and up, shrug the shoulders, opening the wings of the shoulder blades. Good, and connecting these two with the breath. So inhale, the arms back behind you, maybe interlace the fingers, maybe rotate the thumbs up. And exhale, dive the arms forward, interlock the thumbs, fan the elbows, shrug the shoulders. Yes, and continue at your own slow breathing pace. Listening inwardly, making adjustments. Attuning to your body's signals, just as a mother you've attuned to your baby's signals, without words. Just sensing and responding to what's there, to the cues that you're being given non-verbally. Yes. And just notice pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Good. And after the next full round, you can pause and just place the hands on the lap for a moment, close the eyes, just integrate. Yeah, and then you can bring the hands onto the earth out in front, rolling onto the hands and knees. And then we're going to extend the left foot back. Some of you can stay there. Others will lift the left heel about hip height. Then we're going to lift the head, neck, and chest, opening the chest and heart. Maybe even lifting the left heel a little higher than hip height for more of a back bend position. Just notice what sensations are moving through the body in this position. And then you can tuck the chin, round the back, draw the knee towards the forehead, forehead towards the knee. They don't need to touch. It's okay if they don't touch. They probably won't for most of us. And you can also lower the foot down for a rest if this is too difficult. So rounding the back, lifting the mid-back up towards the sky. Just acknowledge pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And it might be subtle. And then we're going to flow. So inhale, lift, head, neck, and chest, lift, left leg. Inhaling there, and exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, forehead towards knee. Inhale, arching the back. And And continue for a few rounds at your own pace. It's benefiting the health of the back and spine. Good. After the next full round, you can pause, lowering the left knee down. And then you can extend the right foot back, right leg back. Lift the head, neck, and chest. Lift the right foot, hip height. And some of you might lift the right foot a little higher than hip height. You can also explore the hand position. Palms can be firmly on the ground, or you can kind of paw the hands so the palms are raised slightly. See what feels best for you. Take a nice deep breath in, arching the back. And then exhale, pull the knee towards forehead, forehead towards knee. And just take a few breaths here. Noticing what this feels like, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Not judging it as good or bad, just noticing it as it is. Good. With a breath, inhale, arching, lifting the leg. And exhale, drawing forehead towards knee, knee towards forehead. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. Listening inwardly. Good. And after the next full round, you can pause. Lowering the right knee down and resting into child's pose for a moment's rest. Just an opportunity to listen. We spend so much time as mothers listening to others, mothering everyone in an attuned, caring, listening way, often neglecting, abandoning our own dear selves. So just take this opportunity to listen to your own internal rhythm, attuning to the cues that the life within you is sending you. And maybe just letting that life inside of you know, in this moment, I'm right here. I'm listening. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Feel the belly and low back expand. And exhale, feel the rib cage, the low back deflate. Yes, listening. And extend the arms, shift the weight into the hands, coming up onto all fours. And melt the hips forward, lifting head, neck, and chest. Moving towards upward dog, either with knees down, modified, or maybe lift the knees up. Soft bend in the elbows. Take a nice deep breath in, lifting up and out of the low back. And exhale, press back either into child's pose or curl the toes under, lift the hips up high for downward facing dog. Just listening, if you're in downward dog especially, listening to the shoulders and the wrists, the neck. Whereas in the mindfulness meditation, we're noticing without fixing or adjusting. In the yoga practice, we can notice and then slowly, gently make a conscious choice to adjust and attune. Good. And connecting these two positions with the breath. Inhale, come forward and up towards upward dog. And exhale, press back into child's pose or downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward and up towards upward dog. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. And just notice pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Good. And after the next full round, taking your time, you can pause either in downward dog or child's pose. And just taking a moment to integrate. And take a nice deep breath in. And allow for long, slow exhalation. And gently rise. Coming all the way up to standing. Standing near the front of the mat. And taking a moment to close the eyes and just tune in. Just tuning in. And even from the standing position, just letting your system know that you're listening. In this more active position, we're no longer seated. Even letting your system know, even as I'm moving into a more active portion of the practice, I'll be listening. I'll be paying attention. Grounding into that intention, you can unite the palms together in front of the heart and rest the thumbs on the sternum, acknowledging the heart center. And this beautiful heart of yours that loves so deeply. And just allowing that love to shine on yourself. So that as we're noticing with care, with great care. And from here, we extend the arms forward, up and back, arching back. You can lean into the toes, hips come forward, lift up and out of the low back so we're not compressing it. Just take a few deep breaths, opening our arms and our hearts. Deepening our capacity to listen to ourselves and others from this non-abandoning, non-judgmental place. Take a deep breath in, opening to that capacity that is there within all of us. And exhale, hinge forward and bow down. Tucking the chin a little bit, relaxing the neck. Feel free to bend the knees for the first forward bend of the day, especially. And just notice what's there to feel. And just see if this is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral overall. And then there might be particular areas that are pleasant, some areas that feel a little unpleasant, some that are neutral, probably. Most of the experience, most of the places are neutral. And there might be one or two that are unpleasant. So just brushing those in particular with the awareness. They tend to need our attention the most. Just like children with off-track behavior, they tend to be most in need of our help and our compassionate presence. Good. Bend the knees, fingertips in line with the toes. Step the left foot far back, left knee raised or lowered. Lifting head, neck, and chest. And offering a nice stretch to the front of the left leg, quadricep. Squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, drawing the perineum up and in, lifting head, neck, and chest. Even drawing belly button towards the spine a little bit, engaging the core. And just listening to the body speak without words to you. Just as our babies did in our arms. Take a nice deep breath in, listening inwardly. And exhale, right foot back, downward dog or plank pose or all fours, your choice. Plank is the traditional pose here. I often demonstrate downward dog. So feel free to explore plank pose for a few seconds. And then if that's tiring, you can lower one knee down or both knees down or move into downward dog. Letting go of any shoulds that come up. When judgments arise, we can just turn towards them as if to bow to them. Thank you for your opinion. I hear you. And then we can invite forward a more compassionate frame or voice. In internal family systems, they say that it helps to invite the judging voice, to invite it if it's willing to soften its energy a little bit. So you can also try that. If there's a judge coming up, just thanking it for its opinion, letting it know that it does have a place within you, and would it be willing to just soften its energy a little bit so other voices can be heard. So from here we'll come forward and up, either knees, chest, and chin, or slithering forward. Or chaturanga into upward dog, coming up into cobra or upward dog. In cobra, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, pressing the hands down and back isometrically. This opens the chest more fully, tucking the chin, lifting the back of the head up. Maybe even engaging the kneecaps, drawing the kneecaps up by engaging the quadriceps. Take a nice deep breath in, rising, and exhale, falling, lowering down a little bit, pressing the hands down and forward as you lower down. Inhale, rising, pressing the hands down and back. Exhale, falling, pressing the hands down and forward, and continue at your own slow breathing pace. Good, and after the next full round, you can pause. Press the hands down, lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. Just bowing down for a few moments to the power of listening. The importance of listening to ourselves and finding people who can listen to us. Safe spaces like our circle where we can be listened to, so that we fill our cups and have listening that we can shine on our children. So just take a moment to listen inwardly. The shoulders might be speaking to you. You
Might bend one knee or the other knee and then hear the calves and Achilles tendon speaking to you. Just listening and attuning. If you need to take a rest on all fours, please do so, or in child's pose. Good. Look between the hands, step the left foot forward, right knee raised or lowered, lifting head, neck, and chest, squeezing inner thighs towards each other, drawing perineum up and in. And really honoring the gift of listening, the power of listening. It's not a passive process. It's a very active process. We're noticing our impulse to say something, our impulse as mothers to advise our children. Especially as they grow older, they'll need more of our loving listening and queries instead of our direction. And even as they're younger, our listening is a powerful, transformative tool for them. Patty Whiffler from Hand in Hand Parenting says, when you give another person your full, warm attention, you help their body and mind move toward better functioning. When you give another person your full, warm attention, you help their body and mind move toward better functioning. And this is very, very difficult to do when your child is in a state of emotional distress or dysregulation. It's challenging to stay calm and come close and listen well. But it can be helpful, if that resonates with you, and it might not, it can be helpful to set that up as a practice. Regulating yourself in the midst of your child's dysregulation will move their system towards regulation long term in what is called or often referred to as co-regulation. It will move their mind and body toward better functioning. So just take a deep breath in, long, slow exhalation, just integrating, digesting that possibility, see if it resonates with you or not. And then step the back foot forward to the front foot, bowing down and shining some compassion on yourself for moments when that's hard to listen to our children and their distress, when we've gotten frustrated with them for being dysregulated or overwhelmed, dysregulated by their dysregulation. It happens to all of us. There's nothing wrong with us that happens. It's a sign that we're connected and influenced by each other as humans. It's perfectly fine. We can set the intention if it's resonating and be compassionate with ourselves in the process. Because there's no way we can listen calmly 100% of the time. Just like we can't be mindful, awake, and completely aware 100% of the time. So extend the arms forward, lengthening through the low back, lifting the torso up, leaning into the toes, hips come forward, shoulders back and down, opening the arms, opening the heart wide. Opening to this intention to listen inwardly to ourselves, our bodies, minds, and hearts with compassion. Opening to this intention to listen to our children, whether they're babies, toddlers, teens, or adults. Listening to them with compassionate awareness, interest and curiosity. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, unite the palms to the heart. And with a breath, inhale the arms forward, up and back, opening to this capacity to listen. And exhale, bow down, listening inwardly. Inhale, right foot back, lift head, neck, and chest, opening our hearts. As we listen and exhale, left foot back, downward dog or plank pose. Inhale, come forward and up into cobra or upward dog, listening with heart. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, listening from the heart with compassion. Exhale, left foot forward, bowing down to the transformative power of listening. Inhale, arms forward, up and back, listening to ourselves as well as others, and exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, arms forward, up and back, opening to our capacity to listen, and exhale, bow down, listening to yourself with great care. Inhale, left foot back, opening our hearts as we listen. Exhale, right foot back, downward dog or plank pose. Inhale, come forward and up into cobra or upward dog, listening with great care. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, lifting the heart as we listen. And exhale, right foot forward, bowing the head humbly down to the openness of heart. Inhale, arms forward, up and back, listening. And exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, arms forward, up and back, listening. And exhale, bow down. Inhale, right foot back, listening as we lift the heart open. And exhale, left foot back, downward dog. And pause here for a few breaths. And just take a moment to check in, attuning to the internal arena, noticing what's there with great care. And we're going to lower the knees down, coming onto the hands and knees. And we'll be investing in the health of the low back here and the muscles in the hip region that support the back, the hip and buttocks area. So extend the left foot back like we did in the beginning of class, lifting the left foot up. And then we're going to bring the left foot out to the left. About hip height, but it's okay if it's a lot lower. It could be even on the ground, slightly above the ground, or about hip height. Then we're going to bring the leg back, straight behind us, and then to the right, as far to the right as it can go. And you can turn to look at the foot to the right. With the breath, inhale, leg to the left, as far as you can comfortably bring it. Exhale to the right. A couple more rounds, inhaling left and so on. And this tends to be a tight, underused muscle, so it might tire easily. After the next full round, you can keep it out to the left for just a breath or two. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale fully. We're going to pull the left knee forward between the hands, slide the right leg back, moving into one-legged pigeon pose. Now we're going to get to stretch what we just strengthened. So walking the left foot out to the right. Just feel around internally. There's a lot here. There's a lot going on with the outer left hip now that we strengthened it. It's stretching. There's also a lot happening in the rib cage and low back region. So kind of just feel around a little bit. You can move side to side in the shoulders, rocking a little bit in the hips, lifting up and back and to the side at an angle. Just feel around a little bit. Even close the eyes as you sense and listen. Just a little organic exploration inside. Some of the most deeply healing moments I've had physically have come from these moments of internal exploration, shifting the yoga poses just slightly to benefit some area of the body, attuning to the personal cues. So just keep exploring a little bit,
Staying curious, open as you listen, and take a nice deep breath in, arching up and back. And then you can exhale, walk the hands forward and bow down. And again, just explore a little bit, see what feels right. The traditional pose is with the hips square, which might mean for most of us the left hip is off of the floor. So you can slide a bolster underneath the buttocks. But there's also ways to modify this. You could roll onto the back and just hug the left knee into the chest. Maybe taking hold of the foot with the right hand so the foot's out to the side a little bit. Or threading the needle pose with the legs in the 4 position. So see what feels right to you. And then just take this opportunity to relax into the stillness and the silence. And shine some caring listening on your internal life. Naomi Remen writes, "In the silence of listening, you can know yourself in everyone, the unseen singing itself softly to you." In the silence of listening, you can know yourself in everyone, the unseen singing itself softly to you. Take a nice deep breath in. And allow for a long, slow, cleansing exhalation. Good. And gently walk the hands back to the knee, lifting the torso up. And you can curl the right toes under, slide the left foot back, downward facing dog. Then you can lower both knees down. Extend the right leg back, lifting the right foot up to hip height. And we can just lovingly acknowledge that this is probably going to bring up some unpleasant sensation. Can keep some lightness and humor about that. So bring the right leg out to the right, and I have a wall here, so that's hard for me to do. But as far to the right as you can, you might need to bend your knee if there's a wall there like me. And just notice unpleasant if this is hard or challenging for you. Then you can bring the right leg back, straight behind you, and then bring the right leg to the left and look at the foot to the left if you can. And with a breath, inhale, leg out to the right, as far as it can go. And exhale to the left. And continue at your own slow breathing pace. Just acknowledging pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That same steady awareness. Good, and after the next full round, you can bring the leg out to the right. Just a few more moments. Take a nice deep breath in, lifting the leg a little bit if possible. And exhale, pull the right knee forward between the hands. Notice the pleasantness of the release. Walking the right foot towards the left a little bit. Maybe walking the left foot back. Squaring the hips at first for the traditional position. And then maybe close the eyes and begin to tune in as you adjust and explore. Maybe shifting shoulders forward or back, up or down. Exploring, taking deeper breaths into the rib cage with a little turn of the torso here or there. There's a nice hip flexor stretch that can happen in front of the left hip as you press down with your left hand and lean towards the right a little bit. Just exploring, just being curious as you listen to the body tell you about itself from the inside out. So rarely do we kind of let the body lead us. And yet there's so much wisdom in the body. Just being willing to listen inwardly with curiosity and care to the divine intelligence of the body. Let it guide us for a few moments. Really allow yourself to utilize the breath to explore some of these positions that seem like they open something up in you. These subtle shifts of movement that seem to help. Good, and then we're going to find our way back to center. Take a nice deep breath in, arching up and back. And then exhale, walk the hands forward, bowing down, tuning in. And relaxing into the silence of listening inwardly. The luxury of being encouraged to listen compassionately to all that's unfolding within you right now. Natalie Rogers writes, "The transformative power of being deeply understood is often underestimated." The transformative power of being deeply understood is often underestimated. Take a nice, deep, rich breath in. And slowly exhale. And gently walk the hands back to the knee, lifting the torso up. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, slide the right foot back to meet the left. And you can just walk
the heels, bending one knee and then the other knee, swimming through the hips a little bit. And then from here, you can exhale fully. Inhale, come forward and up into Cobra or Upward Dog, finding your way through that flow. And exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Inhale, right foot forward between the hands. And exhale, left to meet the right, bow the head. Inhale, forward, up and back, opening the arms and heart wide to compassionate listening. And exhale, palms to the heart, close the eyes, stand tall, and just listen. And then just notice what you're listening to, what's there. Might be the vast open spaciousness, might be a wave of experience. Just notice if that wave of experience is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Just listening. You can gently release the arms, softly open the eyes, sustaining a thread of connection with your inner life. And then you can come down onto your knees, lifting the buttocks away from the heels, curling the toes under, moving into Ustrasana, camel pose. Bring the hands to the low back, palms on the back with fingertips down, or if it's available to you, you can have the fingertips up. Squeeze elbows towards each other, squeeze shoulder blades towards each other. Press the pubic bone forward, lift up and out of the low back. Some of you might keep the chin towards the chest, especially if there's any head or neck injury. Others might begin to arch the head back. Most of us will stay here, supported Ustrasana. Others might move into the full pose by bringing hands to the heels. But please don't feel you need to go there. It's perfectly fine to keep hands on back for support, especially if there's any low back injury. So just take a few deep breaths, feeling the openness of your heart. Breathe into the heart spaciousness, allowing the sky to be a mirror for the openness of your heart. Good. One more deep breath into your vast, open heart. Yes, and then exhale and bring the hands onto the earth out in front. Hands beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips. Make sure there's plenty of space there. And you can just do some cat-cow. Some of you can continue the cat-cow rhythmically. And others, if it feels safe enough to explore, you can just begin to move more organically. Swimming through hips, shoulders, elbows. Again, letting the body lead you instead of you leading the body. Just kind of inviting the body's wisdom forward to steer the ship of the self for a few moments. It rarely gets that opportunity to steer. Just letting the body know you're listening. It can move however it would like to move right now. Good. Eventually, lowering buttocks towards heels, forehead towards the earth, settling inward for a moment of integration. Notice what's there. See if you can acknowledge it as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Just brushing the experience with awareness. Cultivating what Dan Siegel refers to as auto-noetic consciousness, which is just a fancy term for self-knowing. Just cultivating self-knowing. Take a nice deep breath in, expand the low back. And exhale, feel the low back deflate. Good. And you can bring the arms alongside the legs and lift the torso.
And bring the legs out in front. And bring the hands to the thighs, shoulders back and down. Feel free to have the knees softly bent. Inhale, lengthen through the low back, and exhale, hinge forward from the hips. And the hands can follow. Instead of leading with the hands, it's nice to move the hands slowly and just let the hands linger wherever they fall. Just taking this opportunity to listen. Listen to the low back, listen to the backs of the knees, listening to the hamstrings. It can also be interesting to explore this pose a little bit. Some ways to explore bending one knee and pressing the opposite knee down towards the floor, the back of the knee down, and slowly shifting, keeping one knee bent, and pressing the opposite leg down. You can explore tucking the chin, or lifting the chest. Feeling free to be curious and just explore a little bit of subtle movement within the pose, within the structure and frame of the pose. Either continuing to move within the pose or move into stillness if you prefer. As you do so, I'll just share a little bit of information, a little more information about stay listening from the hand-in-hand parenting approach. Especially those of you who have children under 10 years old, it can be a really helpful tool, a listening tool. It's helpful to combine stay listening with calm limits. Patty Whiffler was the first person that I ever knew that introduced limits and boundaries in this way. She says, boundaries can be set in a relaxed, calm manner. And it was revolutionary for me because I had never really remembered, at least, experiencing boundaries being set in a calm, relaxed manner. I had never heard anyone explain boundaries that way. And so one of the tools is setting limits in this calm, relaxed manner. So if a child is demanding junk food right before a meal, just saying in a calm, relaxed way, nope, no cookie. Knowing that if there's any tension in that child's body, if there's a full emotional bladder, they're going to start to shake. If there's a lot of fear, they might need to start pushing up against you, up against that boundary with their bodies. And then we can set things down and we can stay calm and come close and turn towards them and practice stay listening. Staying calm and listening. So we come down to their level. We offer a warm face
as we say no, no cookie, and we listen. So it's limit, listen, limit, listen. We set the limit, and then we listen to their big feelings. Release. Most children will find this extremely aversive because it puts them in touch with the unpleasant feelings they've been running from. Patty Whiffler says, as we pour love in, their hurt will come out. And just like taking out a splinter, it hurts when the hurt comes out. So they'll not want this, and they'll start to push us away. They'll start to demand that we leave, or that we stop talking to them that way, or that we stop looking at them. And it can be helpful to stay and set a limit there. I'm going to stay in a warm, relaxed way. I'm going to stay right here until you feel better. But I am better, they might say. And we can just warmly know that there's a lot more feelings in there. One child said, a 5-year-old from Palo Alto said, it's like a mixing bowl that you pour anger and love and listening into, and out comes happiness. It's like a mixing bowl that you pour anger and love and listening into, and out comes happiness. Said by a 5-year-old whose parents offer stay listening. The transformative power of listening. So exhale fully. Inhale, lift the torso up. And we've been in that pose for a while, so there might be some achiness. Lift the arms up. And just see if you might call on support from higher self, capital S self, higher power, anything you call to or know from your spiritual or religious practice. And just ask for support with listening inwardly to yourself, listening to your children, however old or young they are, listening to your partners and friends. Ask for some support with your listening practice. Take a nice deep breath in, and then lean back and spread your arms wide out to each other. You can either do this with legs on the floor, with knees bent, or in the boat pose, your choice. Either way, just send some warm wishes out to the other mamas that they can listen more fully to themselves. Just send some wishes to each other that you, other mamas, will be able to listen more deeply to yourself, your inner life, that you may find the capacity to listen more fully to your children in a non-abandoning, non-judgmental way. Take a nice deep breath into that capacity and send those wishes out to each other, and slowly lower all the way down. And then hug the knees into the chest and rock. And just receive these wishes from the other mamas and really feel yourself supported in your listening practice. Listening to yourself, listening to your children, however old or young they are. I love hearing from the mothers in our circle who have young adult children, and how important being that safe listening presence is, and how it deepens the relationship even when they've left the house. It's so inspiring to me to learn from those mothers in our circle about this. So from here, you can bring the arms out to the sides, take a nice deep breath in, moving into a flowing twist, and exhale, knees to the right, head towards the left. And feel free to move the legs around a little bit, especially that top leg. And exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, knees to chest, and exhale, knees to left, head to the right, feeling free to move through the upper leg, just exploring. And inhale, knees to chest, and continue
And you can choose to flow with the breath or take a few breaths on each side. You could wrap the top leg around the bottom leg. You can straighten the top leg out to the side. Just exploring as you continue to flow in and out of the twist at your own pace, honoring your own rhythm, listening for that inner call to move and flow with breath. And just notice, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Good. Now to the next full round. You can pause. Either reclining on the back or swinging the legs up the wall for the final relaxation practice. And today, instead of leading you through a full Yoga Nidra practice, we'll just relax in the silence together. So actively relaxing, actively releasing, actively softening into the space around you more fully. Very gently invite the awareness back to the breath. And take a deep, rich breath in and a long, slow, cleansing exhalation. Good. And gently invite the awareness back to the physical body. Gently re-inhabiting the physical self. And you can roll all the way over onto the side. And just pause in a curled up fetal position, curling up sweetly with yourself for a moment. Lovingly acknowledging yourself for carving out the space and time to practice listening. You can press the hands into the earth and lift the body up to seated. Coming to comfortable seated position, closing the eyes, checking the posture. I'll leave you with these words by Virginia Satir, a family therapist who writes, I believe the greatest gift I can conceive of having from anyone is to be seen by them, heard by them, to be understood and touched by them. The greatest gift I can give is to see, hear, understand, and to touch another person. When this is done, I feel contact has been made. Feeling free to bring our hands together in front of the heart. And in honor of making contact with ourselves, with our children, with each other, we offer ourselves, our children, and each other, and all beings a deep, humble bow and namaste. Namaste. So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. It looks like it's about 10:30. Feel free to get some tea, a nice cozy blanket, some warm socks. We'll come back for a sharing circle.